All right, guys, this will be part two of the cover two only video that I dropped. I originally was going to have the whole video, but it would be 40 minutes too long, so I decided to cut it in half, and this will be part two. So here I decided to play cover two match, and he ends up running like a Hank concept. Okay, so we relate to the number three, right? But once he gets to going to the flat, right, then we should be angling towards this section of the field, waiting for someone to become the new number three, right? So when we see this guy, that's when we can just attach to the hip. You should see me do it here. Okay, he's going to the flat, so I'm angling this way, knowing that I would never go all the way to the flat with him because that's not my responsibility. Someone's gonna trigger down. He's gonna end up being the new number two and then the new number one. So then I attach to the hip. I actually could have gotten beat there had he have just ripped it in there. But again, I mean, the cover two defense, like cover two match and etc., you have to be precise a lot of times with your offense, and guys just aren't, right? He could have ripped it in there, but he didn't, okay? So he comes out and trips. Decided to play cover two clip. And I think this is where, yeah, see, again, I was rusty here because I haven't played a lot of cover two clip, right? I just started throwing it in there a lot against 3x1 sets. So he should man up. So it takes getting used to make these adjustments without moving your cursor, right? Now you have to get on this guy and man him up, but you don't have to with anybody else, right? So I was trying to make my adjustments and I was on this player and then he snapped the ball, okay? But here's another benefit to cover two. When you play cover two and they have to do a lot more plays to score, so think about it, as opposed to 7 plays, 80 yards, well, you do 15 plays, 80 yards. What if they score, either or? Okay, big deal. Well, you had 15 plays to diagnose what he likes to do. Okay, more plays so you understand what he's trying to do from different formations. So on accident, I get an interception here. Because when he snaps the ball, that's when I realize, I believe he ran a screen from the same formation earlier. Okay, usually when guys are throwing screens, they don't make adjustments with players or hot routes. They just snap the ball because, hey, I'm throwing the screen. So I just so happened to be on this player. He quick snaps the ball. I noticed the back do that, and then now I'm just driving on the ball. So even when you mess up, not necessarily mess up, but you don't get to the player fast enough to what you're trying to do, you can still make a play. And it's a defense that's designed to not give up a big play. So you don't have to worry too much. He goes bunch, I go cover two clip again. Hopefully I made my adjustments quick enough. Always remember to put this guy inside leverage on this type of split when he's manned up on that side. And I believe he runs the arches concept over here. Okay, so man-to-man inside leverage. So he should be inside of this. I shouldn't be worried about that at all. I'm responsible for something coming inside from the bunch, the deeper of the two. So this is my responsibility right here. Okay, he's going to come inside. Well, one of these guys should be originally him, right? And zoning off. But because he goes to the flat, he's going to make a call. So he mans up and then he takes that, right? So when he drags in, he can take that. And then we have Cloud over here. I mean, look at how sound this really is, right? Look how sound this is. Oh, he stays in the block. So what does that do? Well, now both of these guys are in zone over the middle, right? There's just nowhere to go, right? And he's 4 for 9, 24 yards, 2 interceptions. Next play, trips. I go cover two clip, right? Cover two clip has transitioned into my standard cover two call against trips. So we're manning up, man up. Now I'm responsible for the number three. Okay. So, it's the same as if I'm two match and I'm this player and, I'm relating to the number three, but in two clip, because we take him out of the picture, right? Well, now I'm relating to the number three. And I can do that without being afraid of giving up a big play because he's not in zone underneath anymore. That's the reason why we man him up. So the integrity of the coverage isn't compromised. Okay. I believe what he runs here, I believe he runs a China type deal. I think he goes in, and he goes out like that. So what should happen here? Well, he should play regular zone. Why? Because there's not two verts. He should yell under, 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 informing this guy that he doesn't have to run vertical with this player. So he should zone out and take this guy coming underneath, and he can buzz under the window with the deep half safety. I should move him over. One thing I should do pre-snap, when playing two clip, there's really no reason for him to be here, right? I think we should move him further over, inside leverage of this player. So I'm glad I'm going over this. He goes inside. I don't necessarily have to take that route, right? I'm responsible for three, but if three goes shallow inside, that's where the rules kind of change, right? I don't necessarily have to take that because I know, these guys should be able to vert out and deal with that. Okay. Now in the game, if he were to travel all the way out, he would probably break open and then they can make a throw. But if that were to happen, that's where you can kind of make in-game adjustments. So it's like an in-game dynamic. Okay. But in that instance, I think the standard should be played in the middle. Okay. But then once you get reads, that's when you kind of veer off into clip. I forgot what throw he tried to make here. So look, the back comes in the block and then he goes out and he made a call. So he goes and mans him up. Now he's in zone. And you can see why I'm not trying to chase that number three underneath, because we have a zone guy right there. And there it is. Okay, he goes trips again. And you guys probably won't believe me when I say this. This is when I made this up on the fly, right? We go cover two, clip pressure. That's something I had to add. And the reason why is because it was 3rd down and 10. And, before he picks his formation, I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to do a cover two pressure because, he's going to have to throw the ball. He's down 17. It's 3rd and 10. So I was going to do another cover two pressure. And then he went trips. And I'm like, well, I really want to play cover two clip. And then it hit me. It's like, well, why not add a pressure to cover two clip? It's like, wow, you can really, you can add a lot to these different variants. So I'm like, you know what, I believe I picked some sort of cover two blitz. There it is. Okay. So everything's the same. I just wasn't able to get everything the exact way that I wanted, and we get an interception. So look at that. 2 of the plays where I wasn't ready, I got picks. Okay. So cover two clip pressure. You notice I had to add that in there. So I was thinking here, okay, how do I, obviously I'm going to man him up. Okay. And then, what was hitting me was, okay, I was supposed to relate to the number three. And what threw me off in my head was, okay, I got to grab like a defensive end to do that, But after the game, when I put this together, I'm like, no, when I do two clip, I'm the one that's relating to the number three, right? So I can keep everything the same underneath. And what I should do is take someone to man up the back. Okay. So that's something I gotta fool around with on a practice field. Hopefully we can get like a banjo call with that, but I gotta fool around with it. Okay. So anyways, I picked that defensive tackle, and we can go over this interception real quick. Okay, what he does, a go pattern and an outside breaking pattern. And what's happening on this side, right? Well, we're in cover two match type deal, but he's a soft squat corner, right? It's a trap. He's going to turn with this player and run with him, but he's keying the number two. If number two breaks outside, then he leaks off of that guy and he breaks on the pattern, and that's exactly what happens. And imagine combining this with pressure, right? That's what Greg Williams was all about, bringing pressure from a cover two shell. So you can make this exact mistake because this guy has inside leverage. So it gives away the outside naturally. And with the pressure, you're like, all right, there it is, and you throw it. Let's see if this is what he saw. Oh yeah, right? Inside. They're in cover two. I can rip this in there. No, you can't. It's the perfect trap. And also what they teach, Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy, in their glory years is they want takeaways, and that's exactly what we've gotten in the game. Okay, I was running cover two. Oh, okay, I didn't really mark that play because that was the end of the half. Really not a big deal there. Okay, against formations like these, I like to run cover two regular. Again, safety. He's gonna go to a. I go to an underfront, and I believe we get a. Okay, once I see it's not a run. Okay, you noticed before when I said we're reading if it's a run so I can trigger down. Okay, that's our first read. When we see this guy bypass, we know it's a pass. That's when I get into my pass keys. Backpedal, widen. Okay, I see the corner, so I want to definitely apex these two guys, right? But once he goes inside, I can really play over the top hard on this route. And obviously we have the cloud flat underneath. And you see, probably wondering, well, how is that double coverage there, right? Because it's regular cover two. And that's because the rules are slightly different from cover two match, right? But you can play cover two regular and there's matching principles in it, as long as you have match on, right? He's going to play the deep middle. If this guy were to go up the middle, he would typically match and pass it off. But we get something like this. So he plays under this route. And then the deep half safety is there as well to provide help over the top. So he had a throw there. But again, you have to be perfect in your reads there. And the read was this guy right here, because this middle player is vacating this area to do his responsibility, right? And that's just, the guy were to make a throw here, you were to rip it right now, right? And we hit this window. You can't get mad and say this defense sucks. No, it's he attacked the weakness of it, right? There's no perfect defense in the game. He's 7 for 8, 4 interceptions. So here I decide to go cover two match. And this is where you can play a game against doubles, 2x2 sets. I already went over what you're supposed to do. To match, we are relating to the number 3. If he goes to the flat, then we just angle up, ready to take something from this side as the new number 3. And once he angles like that, I start angling this way. And then you'll notice he starts cutting back, so he remains the number 3. That's my guy, right? But he ends up throwing this out. And again, it looks open, right? Because he has this guy out leveraged in the game. A lot of times they're late trapping this throw, right? So that's why he's able to fit this in there. You could tell he was scared because, he clicks on and he tries to, catch the ball and he fights down, right? All that for 5 yards, right? Another benefit to being a cover 2 team with the cover 2 scheme. Now, the game I was referring to, no huddles, so I cover 2 match again, is in a 2x2 set. We're relating to the number 3, right? Expecting something front side. Well, why not play on this side pre-snap, right? And then at the snap of the ball, you start flying this way. You may think, well, what if you get out leveraged to the flat, right? Well, you don't care because we're not responsible for the flat. So once he goes to the flat, something's going to come back inside and you can overtake that, okay? But it would give the illusion that you're in man-to-man coverage with this guy. And you could get a potential throw to the flat where we get like a trap corner to attack that, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, and when he goes like this and fights back in, he's fighting back in towards the leverage that I have superior leverage inside. He throws that route again into traffic, and we not, fourth down. So here I decide to play cover 2 clip against bunch. And I believe what he does this. Oh, he motions them out. Notice how quick I changed that. So I'm noticing against bunch, when you play cover 2 clip, I should just keep this guy in clout flat. I like that better. So you can play potential corner routes a lot better with potential double, top and bottom. But when he motions him out, that's when I turn him into soft squat. Okay. So I think that whip gets open because the soft squat always triggers late on that type of action. And he's able to get a first down. Facemask call. Due to, that's one of the disadvantages to turning fumble, what is it, tackling to aggressive and strip ball to aggressive. More potential for face mask. Now that makes no sense at all in real life, because if you're trying to strip the ball, you're not going to be going for the face mask to do it. But I don't have a problem with them doing that, because you got to have some balance to it. Well, actually, when I think about it, I do have a problem with that, because what you can do is just make it to where there's more chances of them to break the tackle, because that's real life stuff. You're constantly just trying to strip the ball. You're not wrapping up. They can break the tackles a lot more frequently, right? That's why you wouldn't want to turn that on against, you're playing like a man coverage type defense, right? If you're playing cover 1 and you're man to man, and this guy runs a slant and beats this guy, right? Throws it to him, and he's right behind him, and this guy just tries to strip the ball as opposed to tackling him and getting him down, and break the tackle and just break free. As opposed to cover 2, you get a slant, right? You have 1, 2, and a vertical hook all rallying to make a tackle. You're not afraid of someone missing a tackle by trying to strip the ball, right? So this is our big interception. I believe the number 2 goes like this. 3 hooks it up. This guy's going to go on an in. Goes deep. Leaks to the flat. And we're playing cover 2 clip, okay? And earlier I stated why when you play cover 2 clip, so we're going to man up here, man up this guy, and then everybody else is in their respective zones where they're matching and doing different things. When he goes out, they're going to get a banjo call. So he's going to run with this guy, and then he's going to turn into the new zone, okay? But remember what we're doing. We want to make it seem like we're staying over the top as the safety here. We don't want our opponent to know that we're this player. And we don't want him to know that we are really playing like a steal type coverage to steal a route from the front side, right? And that gives the illusion that the middle of the field is wide open, especially when you see the linebacker run with the back and then they exchange and then he stays underneath, right? And that's exactly what happens here. Literally the perfect example of playing cover 2 clip. You see, we get the banjo call, he takes him, and now we get, look how wide open the middle of the field looks. That's just deception. And as stated, what Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy preached, we want to score. I believe that's my 3rd defensive touchdown in the game. And this is literally the best play in the game defensively, because this is, you got fooled on this play. This is 100% scheme fooling your opponent, right? And I'm breaking on this hard, giving the illusion that it's double high on this side, but we're in 2 clip. I'm responsible for an inside breaking post type pattern, crossing pattern from the bunch side. So I'm coming on this really hard, and we pick it off, score the ball. So I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the video. This was a video to showcase how you can really be a cover 2 team and just play cover 2 the entire game. you just switch between the different variants, right? So, typically I'll play cover two against formations where cover two can be decent. Like, I have standard calls against empty sets. I'm playing cover two match right out the gate. But 2x1 sets, I'm playing cover two. But if my opponent try to exploit that by coming out in a 2x1 set and going with like 3 verticals, trying to stretch to safety, well then now when he comes out in 2x1 set, I now play cover two match. So we can match those routes if he decides to do that, right? So that's what I mean. It's a playbook within a playbook. And the benefit of that is no matter what, at the end of the play call, they're going to have their play over here and they're going to see that you play cover two every single time. Every single time this guy went back to the huddle, he saw me in cover two. He didn't see cover two match. He didn't see cover two clip. He doesn't see the adjustments made within the play. Okay, so I'll leave it at that, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got some insight. I'll provide timestamps so you can get to the plays that you just want to see, and hope you keep coming back, man. Peace.